Let me tell you more about the Traibon Family Saga world. This world, I decided that I wanted a fantasy realm that was a little reminiscent of 17th century vibes, with a little bit of a French flair in some regards. But there's other cultures that have kind of influenced different sections of the world. The great thing about this is that I also wanted something where there was magic in the world, but it's taboo, it's dark, it's ugly. I wanted ugly magic. There's all these shows that magic is pretty in a lot of regards, and then you get those moments like in the Six of Crows and all those where the magic turns ugly. Well, I wanted this magic to be ugly. So I created this world with that in mind. I've also been itching to do soul weapons in a story. I didn't have a place too much in my other series, so there's soul weapons in this series and world. So here we are. We have The Princess Priest was the first book and installment. I started with Dante and John's story, Dante's story, the Ascension of Dante. And I start you off small. You're going back and forth between the farm and the capital of the house, Glynsdale. Now, in this world, there are three governments that are sort of in play on the continent of Grandmere. To the north, the court is been pretty much shoved to the mountains. No one knows if they really are there. Rumor has it they are definitely still around. To the north region of Grandmere, we have the house. To the south is the tower, which is, and to kind of give you an idea, the house is ran by blood eaters and is predominantly the demon race. Whereas to the south, you have a better mixture, but the ruling body is humans, with King Regis and his crown princess Sonia. The house has two crown princes. Prince Ashton, who has been missing for 50 years at the start of the Princess Priest. And then the character we are following, which is Dante, is the second crown prince. So you have this royal intrigue aspect unfolding. By book 2, I'm kind of zooming us out on the map. So now we see Glynsdale, and we also see the capital city of the Tower, which is Captiva City. And that's also where the church, which is also an entity in itself, that is not necessarily a governing body, involved. You discovered that there's 100+ year civil war that's been going on between the Tower and the house, that started when noble houses from the old continent across the ocean invaded and tried to take things over. Things went awry. There was a rebellion, and now we have a civil war between humans and blood eaters kind of aspect. But it's been so long that it's all muddled and keeps shifting. Now, I'm currently working on book 3 and 4. And again, there's this aspect that we're zooming out. So we go from Dante's world keeps getting bigger is basically the concept, and he starts to realize there's a lot of things that he doesn't know or should know, and it terrifies him a little bit in book 3 and 4. So now we're zoomed all the way out to the whole continent, and we see Terheim, which is one of the most southern cities of Grandmere itself. And then we learn that there is a place between the old continent and the Grandmere, and that's the Scarlet Isles, and that they play an important role. They are why the goods and people are coming back and forth between the continents constantly. Whereas in Glynsdale, when he isolated himself, he didn't think there was much happening between the old continent and Grandmere. Only discovered that is very false and presumptuous, and it seems strange to him that he had been sheltered. Now, on the old continent, there are stories, right? We haven't explored characters from there besides in the prequel which is The Fall of Ashton, which is the book Champion's Lord, which is on pre-order right now. We know that his lover, Lord Raphael, is actually the last heir to the emperor, who used to reside in the Anointed City. There was a whole empire. There was 2 major empires, in fact. The other one is the Ifrit clan, which is ogres and very Oriental inspired kind of aspect, or it's like Oriental Arabian kind of mixture going on there. But and of course the emperor is more like Roman British kind of vibes. So I'm sort of like trying to set these tones so they kind of have different splashes of flavors that interact in some interesting ways. So I don't know if Dante just yet will ever make it as far as the Old Continent in his story, but you do get to go to the Scarlet Isles by book 4. So prepare for that. We are taking the boys and putting them on a ship eventually in book 3 and 4 possibly. So you'll so much happening. Now you're probably wondering, well, there's got to be more. There's all these freaking factions. So one of the factions that I've already talked about is the church. So we have this religious faction who believe in the Holy Trinity. We also have the faction, another religious faction that sort of has fallen apart by Dante's time, is the Paladins of the Fates and the Followers of the Fates. These are 3 women. I think it's the Beloved Mother, the Sacrificial Daughter, and the Sacrificial Sister. Yeah, Sacrificial Daughter and Devoted Sister, who are sort of demon-based religion for them. And then you have other deities for different areas, right? So there's this whole aspect in hinting that this world is broken a little bit, and it's not necessarily the people who are living in it, but possibly something deeper. And it's been fun slowly dripping that into the storyline. And a lot of it's going to come to light in these next couple of books that are going to be coming up for pre-order soon. Besides that, we also have the Guild, which is an Assassin's Guild. We have the Merchants Guild. We'll learn more about them. They're more ship naval based, and their homeland is the Scarlet Isles. But they're in charge of a lot of ports, both in Grandmere and the Old Continent. We also have the Faceless. These are described as people who wear plague masks, like the plague doctors. They specialize in mostly archery and long range attacks, but they're involved in protecting the Salvation Road, which is a road in truce that during the Civil War has been developed so people can still do business. Like, basically the Civil War has gotten to the point where they still want to do business with each other, but they still battle out. It's crazy. You have the Madness and Flesh Eaters. These are people suffering from being bitten by blood eaters or coming in contact with soul weapons, and have been cursed in some means or ways. Most of them will eat themselves silly or tucker themselves out, but it's hit and miss. No one knows. This has just been going on for a very long time, since Blood Eaters started. It's been fun building this world, but you're gonna have to read and see how I trickle this world building into the storyline quite a bit. But that's your tour for Traibon Family Saga. There should be a link for the Princess Priest, which is the first in this world building aspect. And enjoy diving into this.